Welcome back, guys. My name's Alex. That's Eileen. And you guys are watching and listening to Straight to Chicane. And we are back after a long summer break. We are back.
The longest summer break.
We are in Zandvoort. Mm-hmm. I think I said that correctly.
You did. Good job.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're in the Netherlands. It is Max home race. It is definitely Super Max fans and the
Orange Army.
The Orange Army is there
in full effect.
They were. There were some deciding factors going into this weekend. There was some big news going into this weekend.
I would say that the summer season typically brings out a lot of news.
Typically, it's like a lot of times from the silly season stuff.
Silliness.
But this one's been a little tame, although there is a lot of questions still going on for this season. But yeah, we're back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yes. So first, Cadillac announced their drivers.
Yes.
There was big rumors.
There was already a lot of talk, a lot of speculation.
Oh, man. But there was rumors everywhere. I was even under the assumption that Schumacher was going to be one of the drivers. Mm-hmm. And I was wrong.
I mean, I think it was kind of confirmed during summer break leading into it. And then obviously they had some press in the U.S.
Yeah.
But we have Valtteri and Checo back next year, officially.
So
which is huge.
Honestly, I think it was a good call for both those drivers. Both very experienced. Both the best number 2 drivers out there.
Yes.
There's no better teammates for either of those guys. They supported their role, did their roles to help their teammates become world champions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also Checo, obviously, Valtteri's on the grid technically as a reserve driver this year, but Checo has been essentially on a very long summer break, as he put it.
Hanging out with the family. The kids are kind of young still.
Yeah, enjoying a lot of time. He's like, wow, this is a really long summer break for me. I never knew summer was this long. Yeah. But he brings a huge fan base, which,
a very big fan base, the South America fan base, for sure.
Yeah, so Cadillac is going to have a huge dynasty of fans coming with them.
Right along with
signing Checo. So that's pretty exciting.
You're right about that. And I'm excited because they are based here in Indianapolis, just outside of there, which is not too far down the road from us. Very cool stuff. Some other news, I guess, is that they got signed before...
They got signed before either Mercedes driver got signed.
And so we still don't know.
Which is funny. The third driver at Mercedes gets signed before the lead 2 drivers. So
yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen at this point? I mean, obviously, we've got to get into the race at some point, but, there's a lot up in the air what was going to happen. We did see Max and Toto on the yacht over summer break again. A lot of speculation.
I want to talk about that just briefly. What do you think that was about? You think that's just because they're all friendly people in that world? And it just, they saved a couple bucks by both being able to be on that same boat together?
Sure. It's coincidental. I think a few years ago, I could have never imagined seeing Toto and Max going to dinner or going and freaking holidaying together.
Sure.
Multiple times. But I think it's just, Max is committed, I think, to Red Bull next year. Like Laurent Mekies, once he took over at Red Bull, Max came to him and said, listen, whatever you've heard, just forget about it. I'm committed to Red Bull, So I think it keeps the door open post 26. Because what if next year when all the regulations change, Red Bull's obviously having a lot of problems now. There's rumors about them having issues with their new engine, being behind for next year. So maybe that opens up 27 for him on what that looks like.
Okay.
So
that's a good thought.
He's keeping his relationships
and his options open. Even though he doesn't really care or probably going to drive for the next 10 years or whatever.
Right. Yes. I don't see him probably. I mean, his contract's through 28 with Red Bull, but I don't see him doing a whole lot after that. Maybe he goes on to do something else. Different series. So.
And he will. And he can.
Right.
Another thing is I think a lot of these drivers, from looking at practice, they really enjoyed their summer break because they came back.
And they forgot how to drive. Yeah.
There was a lot of spinning.
A lot.
How much damage was done? I don't really know. I know there was a lot of spinning. I know Lewis came out of both of his spins in both practices.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people driving over, probably some floor damage. The only major damage was obviously, Lance Stroll crashing out, and that was the big one. They repaired his car overnight for him to crash out again in Q1. So they worked until midnight to get that car fixed, and then he did a did a stroll move in Q1. So
Yeah. But still finished the race pretty good.
well, I mean, hey, listen, the people. What a wild race it was, but definitely you got to give it to Stroll. He did bounce back. He didn't let his poor qualifying position because he ended up finishing essentially last. But Ollie Behrman started in the pit lane, so he was P19, and he finished with some solid haul of points.
19 and finished some points. I know, but granted, there was some DNFs and there was some definitely
Some top contenders that weren't in the mix.
And there was some weather-ish weirdness, and there was some tire changing, and there was a bunch of things that kind of happened.
All the normal things that happen during a race.
Totally.
There was some pit stops. There was some racing.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But yeah, so it was a shock to see that Lewis was spinning out because they had like a new Ferrari was bringing some new stuff this weekend.
We focus so much on Lewis, like every weekend spinning, like the media just loves to just everything that Lewis does. Like that's the only thing we talk about.
But they ended up having a tough weekend.
They have a terrible weekend. It was not good. Hopefully they just got it out of the way. I know Ferrari fans are feeling like, you know what, we're still on summer break. First race back is Monza. So
yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't good. It was not only him spinning, obviously, but he did spin in free practice 1 and 2. So, if I had a nickel for every time Lewis spun, I'd have 2, which isn't much, but it's pretty weird.
Yeah.
But also we saw Max Verstappen driving almost into the wall after his practice start in the session, which was so unusual to see. When's the last time you saw Max in the gravel?
And honestly, I think what you saw there was him pushing it to the maximum, because he did it was from the grid, and he was able to go from the grid on a start, and he wanted to see where his last bit of braking point was. So he probably went to the extreme, was like, okay, I can't go there because if I go here, if I brake here, I'm going in the gravel, which is what we saw. And it wasn't even on camera, really. It was more like behind the scenes, people had it on social media is where I think I saw the gravel part. I didn't see it on F1.
I saw him going through the gravel.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I showed you the behind the scenes of a fan. Saw him start and then, go in. But they did show it because the F1 TV,
they do show the start.
Right.
Yeah, the practice.
Yeah, I mean, they cut to it and showed it. I don't think it was like live footage or whatever.
I didn't.
We're like, oh, wow. When's the last time you saw Max Verstappen like go into the gravel?
Not super often, but this is where he would test it, and that's what he did.
Yeah. And I mean, it is on the coast. So wind is a huge factor.
Wind and sand. And speaking of this race, like this track in particular, this is what? There's one more race here next year, and that's it? Or is this the last one?
No, I could have swore we were going on a rotation with Spa and Zandvoort.
So then next year Zandvoort, the year after, we don't go here.
But now I'm like, the Dutch Grand Prix is like the final race.
That's what I thought.
So
I don't think we're coming back here. And I'm torn because I like... The track is cool. It's got the crazy banked curve, and it's got the last track that's banked. But honestly, it's a little boring,
There's not a lot of overtaking.
No, and I don't know why that is, and I don't know if they couldn't change a couple things to make it better, but apparently they can't. And I was under the assumption that we're gone, and it's not under a rotation, and I thought this was the last time.
Well, next year, 26.
26.
Because it's funny because it's Max's home race, and I actually just saw they confirmed who's like headlining next year.
Okay.
And
for music.
And it's Martin Garrix, which is like Max's best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Like the DJ. So I was like, oh, of course. Very fitting. Very fitting. So, I mean, it's a bummer. We did see like...
We're losing a lot of good tracks.
When we had the race 2 years ago, when they had that... It was super nice. Started like, dry, then it went to wet. And, we had like the most overtakes that there possibly was.
Right.
That was a really good, race weekend, which I think coming into it, we thought the speculation around the weather going into this weekend was going to be
okay. So let's talk about it. So going into it, like you just said.
Yes. Rain every day.
I saw rain every day. High probability of rain.
90%.
And honestly, maybe it rained sometime in the day when we weren't watching.
I mean, I think it did rain because it rained overnight. I know that going into obviously, qualifying or whatever, because they were like, oh, and they had F1 Academy this weekend too. So
sure. Well, there was only that and one other series to help kind of clean up.
Right. Yeah, but the rain washed it all out. But that's what you get when you're that close to the water.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, you get a lot of yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, we expected rain, and then it was for the first time. I mean, I feel like that's always been a huge thing is what's the weather going to be like and the speculation around that. And then there was nothing. It was like, here's a couple dribbles, and there's probably in 5 laps going to be like some small drops of rain.
It wasn't enough. It didn't even affect the tires.
It didn't affect anything to like cause a gamble.
No, where it caused issues, and then we can, you know, is it when Lewis got on the outside of turn 3, I think it is, on the banked corner, and he put one of those tires on that the painted surface, and that was damp and it was wet, and definitely, I think that was part of the cause of his accident.
Well, yeah, he went deep, then he overcorrected.
I also think the Leclerc accident was caused by Antonelli, which is something we can talk about too. And Antonelli went deep.
Turn 3 was like the disaster of Ferrari.
It was. So anyways, Antonelli went deep, and I don't think he had the tire grip to keep him in that corner, and that's why he drifted all the way up and just...
Yeah, not good as an Italian, taking out the Italian team's driver.
No.
Okay. And not for nothing, not great qualifying from Ferrari this weekend, not the worst we've seen.
No.
But Charles was not happy. Lewis was actually happy with the performance. He felt better coming into the weekend. They qualified 6th and 7th, you know, nothing wild, nothing crazy. But Charles was definitely on a good charge. He always seems to kind of get screwed over by the safety car. And he had just...
They missed it by 1 lap. Half the lap.
No, he literally had just pit, and Lewis crashed that lap.
As he was coming out.
So then everybody got to come into the pits and get a short pit stop. So he ended up down the roster.
He lost out on like 3 spots or 2 spots or something like that.
He was never
You're right.
on the radio.
No, that sucked. And it wasn't his fault. And
no, and
his timing. It was timing.
Listen, and if he wouldn't have gotten hit, we did see some very exciting racing from Charles.
We did.
Some fun overtakes on George. Got a little crazy, got a little off the track. But, not for nothing, it was like under investigation or whatever. They did hit each other.
They touched wheels?
And George got damaged from it. But, because Charles was like off the track, did George just, close the door? How you take that. But also it's like, that was probably the most exciting overtaking of the race.
Yeah.
Because no one else was really even trying or going for it. We saw the pass from Lando to Max, obviously, earlier on. But Charles was on a charge, and he just sent it. He did get the overtake. George wasn't happy about it. And then coincidentally, obviously he had damage. Antonelli was let through by George. Then there was another, safety car incident. So we saw another round. And then, of course, Charles is coming out. Antonelli, had pit the lap before and crashed into him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This has gone from bad to worse for Ferrari.
Yeah. Antonelli's tires were, no, it was just a weird scenario.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't.
I'll tell you what, it has brought up a large conversation around if Kimi Antonelli has joined F1 too soon.
I don't think so. I think he's a very good young talent. I think maybe he's got a lot of stuff going outside of Formula One right now because he is a young person still with like going to normal school. I think he kind of needs that to be over with and done, right? Did he graduate yet?
Yes, he's 19 now.
Oh, okay.
So he's done.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. So I don't know what is, and I know he was like, there's things that can happen that I don't know. I don't think he's too young. I think that's the average age nowadays coming in. I think he had a good run in the beginning, but he is causing some accidents.
Yeah, I mean, he took out Max earlier this season.
But I would argue he's taking out the leaders or these top guys because he's in the hunt with the top guys. He's always in the top 10 or near the top 10.
Sure.
He's had, a podium this year?
Yeah, he podiumed in Canada, and we really haven't seen a whole lot since then.
No, we haven't. As soon as that happened, it just went.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think let's see how things go the rest of the season. I feel like that's why Mercedes is being kind of cautious with whether or not they're going to sign him. I don't know who they would take if they didn't sign him, but like,
Just Max for both seats. We'll just have Max drive one car for both.
well, I mean, I think they should keep George. George is obviously the leader of the team, but should he have gone to like a Williams? But Williams is definitely on the up and up on the build. So
They have
two solid drivers.
They have two good drivers, or one debatable on how good they are, but yeah, good drivers, and their car is kind of fast. We might see it here in Monza being the fastest car.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's what I keep hearing.
Well, I mean, they are fast in the straight line, so definitely, I would expect to see some exciting things from them. So, but yeah, Ferrari, it's what. I'm not thinking about this weekend anymore. I allowed it to ruin my life on race day, and not for nothing. We're on to the next. We're on to the next.
Okay, fine. No more talk of Ferrari then. Let's talk about Racing Bull, because they have had a good run of points as of late, and Isack Hadjar, who
he's our rookie of the year.
He's showing to be the rookie of the year, being very, very consistent right now. After the very first race, he had a tough time, and now, he is being the top driver.
From crashing out on the formation lap.
Now,
from crashing out on the formation lap to getting his first podium in F1.
Yeah.
15 races in. I mean, in a second in the sister team, which is begged to differ, because obviously we know Red Bull has its challenges. And Racing Bulls obviously, seem to be, even when Yuki was there, was performing well. But Hadjar has been very consistent. What did I say? He's the only driver that has not been knocked out in Q1 this season, which is
consistent.
Like literally the only one.
Yeah.
So he's scored more points this weekend than the Red Bull second seat has scored all year.
That's correct.
So hello. And it's funny to me, and I've always been like critical of Helmut Marko, and I think there's a lot of Helmut Marko haters out there. But after the Australian Grand Prix, when he crashed out and he was emotional, obviously, first race in Formula One, upset, Helmut Marko was like, it was embarrassing that he was crying. And now he's out there talking about, this is why we signed him. He's amazing talent. I call him a mini Prost. Like, okay, so your tune has changed in 15, races.
That's because he's probably going to have to do the dance and the jiggle, because his job might be on the line just as much as everybody else's.
So. It should be, because
it should, because he has made some bad calls, and he has said some really questionable things about some people, and
his own drivers.
And that's what I'm saying. And also, like, he's also brought up young drivers way too fast and had them burn out way too quick, and it's a damaging thing for what he does. And then if you go look at what happened to a lot of these Red Bull drivers and the career they've had after, some of them that have been nurtured. Carlos, he had a good family life and was able to get out of his contract, and they let him go early on. But a really good driver. He's a Red Bull one. You could say Alex Albon. He went on, after Gasly.
Kenny Kvyat. There's a lot of drivers that have been through the Red Bulls.
What about the ones that we don't know about too, that have been burnt out and stuff like that we didn't see? Because we got to see a couple of them.
Listen, he's an old man that has a lot of opinions. Was it him that made the decision to, axe these people mid-season, or, bring them up when they probably shouldn't have come up? Now, of course, the big, you see someone like Isack that's performing well in the second team, and you can only think Red Bull's going to do what Red Bull loves to do. Are they going to promote this driver because he's performing similar to what we've seen in the past? Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda, all these people who have been brought up, Pierre Gasly, all of them, and then they get not even a season. Yuki obviously is getting the rest.
No, but like Liam Lawson didn't even get a full season.
Right. He got like 2 races, which is crazy. And, like Yuki made a statement. He was like, listen, I think that I have a lot that's gone into Racing Bulls. Like he was,
like, I think I could get 2 races, and I don't even know.
No, you couldn't. Relax. Don't give yourself so much credit. Everybody thinks that Formula One is like not that hard
No, it's not there. It's
but it is.
I know it's.
All the fans out there in the comments with their keyboard warrior shit making fun of everybody when they crash.
But I think I could probably manage 2 races before they're like, okay, Alex, you're done. Good job. That's all I mean.
Very well, sure.
Do I think I'm capable of being as good as them? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, but can I manage maybe 2 races? I think I can manage 2 races.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that, obviously the big conversation is, and Nico Rosberg, again, going into this weekend, said the same thing. Like, if they come to you, Isack, and they ask you to step up to Red Bull, just tell them no.
Yeah. He's always good with the comments.
He is. We didn't have him this weekend. We had Jacques.
Yeah.
Not my favorite. But anyways,
No.
Congratulations
to
Isack on his first podium. It was like probably the happiest moment of the weekend, I think, collectively for F1 as a sport.
Well, and yes, and I think you got it all with him because you even got the broken trophy again with him.
I know.
Which it seems to be a common thing with these trophies. You think how like valuable these trophies are and how like sought after there should be. And I know that this one is like a ceramic or some sort of, not metal. Non-metal.
Yeah, it's like similar to the Hungarian ones where like anytime it's those huge goblet, like Harry Potter looking trophies, they always seem to break. Where Hungary, they're like, the porcelain looking.
And that's what it was, a porcelain setup. And I think he just tapped.
It literally looked like he just set it down, but I'm sure he had been like throwing it around and doing all sorts of chaos.
Yep.
Posts. So.
And probably had some stress factors before that moment in time. But yes, it was funny to see because his reaction was quite funny as well. And I know Kim Illman, the photographer, was able to be the one that captured that among a couple other ones. But yeah.
It was funny. It was great. It was definitely I think we were all excited. Obviously it came on the back foot of Lando Norris DNFing.
Okay, fine. Let's talk about McLaren.
Let's talk about it.
There's a lot of drama going on. I'm pretty sure Lando Norris fans, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a few of them have sent some letters to the FIA.
There's been some DMs being sent to the FIA.
People are angry, upset, hurt, feel betrayed. What is it, Eileen, what's going on? Because what we don't know, if you guys don't know, if you haven't seen, Lando Norris had an engine failure, I don't know, 2/3, a little bit past 2/3 of the race.
There was like 5 laps left.
Yeah, and he was kind of closing in on Oscar. It was actually starting to get a little spicy.
It was.
So, yeah, I don't know.
It's on the charge. His engineer was like, let's go get him. He obviously, it's the whole race had been trying to claw his way back.
Yeah.
Lando was on top all weekend. Lando practice 1, practice 2, practice 3. Then he was like 100ths down from Oscar.
I think Oscar was just saving that little
And also, Oscar got allegedly, we didn't watch the onboards, but I did see during qualifying, he got a little bit of a toe from Isack. And is that how he was able to put it on pole?
I mean, because we're dealing with fractions of a second, small moments of a second.
Between the McLarens. But
well, yeah, that's what I mean. Between the McLarens and then like outside is like a half second or whatever it is, right? But it can be the difference between the distance that we are sitting currently. You know what I mean? So that little toe, I absolutely gave him the advantage.
Yeah. So, I mean, Lando he had obviously a great weekend. Both McLarens, it was looking to be a 1-2. Was there going to be a little bit of a, charge at the end potentially? But unfortunately, Lando comes on the radio and is like, it smells like smoke in the cockpit. And then he's like, I got an oil. And they're like, oh, we're checking.
He's like, it don't smell right.
He's like, it's smoking in the engine. And they're like, hold on, we're going to check.
And that's when
we'll come back.
That's when F1 does. They go to the wide shot of him and you can just see the trail smoking. I'm like, engine's going.
Yeah. And then the oil, his car was leaking oil like down the track, which, came up to. And so obviously he was like, they were like, can you get it back? And he's like, no, I'm out. I'm getting out. And so, it's a bummer to see. Going into the weekend, it was like, a small gap, 9 points.
Yeah. And now it's a pretty big, substantial.
And now it's 34 points.
Now, it's not out of the realm. We've seen it before, farther than that and come back, right?
Potentially. I don't know. I'd have to go back. But, obviously we saw in 2021 when Lewis was pretty substantially behind. come Silverstone.
Yeah.
And then Max did crash out. Obviously, Lewis won. And then they, all it takes is one DNF to really swing the championship in a direction.
That's right. I mean, Oscar's been very consistent. That's the kind of like mindset Oscar has, is a very consistent driver. That's why you see him very monotone. Like, is he happy? Is he sad?
Like he won Girl to Grid going into this weekend, and he was so happy. The photo of him winning, getting the trophy for Girl to Grid, he was like, yeah.
But he never shows that.
And he wins the race, and he's like,
yes, he's very tame and very serious about his craft right now with that, right? And he doesn't joke around with that. And I think that's a little scary. And I've heard other people say that, because that means his mindset's wild. But he's very consistent, and but all it does take is one engine failure, and and it's not that far out yet. No,
34 points feels like a lot, and Lando,
and Lando fans, it does feel like a lot. I get it, but
listen, Lando fans, I think, are behind Lando 100%. We can still win the world.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying for sure. But don't worry, like it's still within reach for him.
Yeah,
don't need the DM. The FIA.
And here's the thing is, obviously I understand there's been challenges. And so there is Lando fans out there that are like, well, he had brake issues. He had, car issues. Sure. He had, this. He had all these different things at previous races. Maybe because it was socialized on the radio a little bit more.
Also, because he pushes the car a little harder than...
Right. Yeah.
Because he's trying to catch up, because he makes little mistakes sometimes.
Right. But also, it's like, okay, we've had a lot of McLaren 1-2s here, so like it's
quite a bit.
McLaren's been very dominant. They're on track to win like the earliest we've seen probably since Red Bull's domination 2 years
Maybe
ago.
even Red Bull or Mercedes domination too.
Right. So, I mean, we know McLaren obviously has the car to do it. We're going to talk about, obviously, this was a mechanical failure.
But does it come down to this mechanical?
He wasn't able to. Does it come down to this, or could we say, does it come down to Canada? He crashed into the back of Oscar, couldn't finish the race. Oscar did finish the race. That was a monumental moment too. Mm-hmm. But who's to say? Things can get crazy. Lando did say, you know what? I'm just going to send it for the rest of the year. Good. I got to try and win every race.
He does. And that's either going to go good for him because he's learned from all these other times he's sent it, or it's going to fail miserable.
And, it's the first mechanical failure for McLaren. It could have happened to anybody, but what and I want to say all Lando fans, but what we saw from some Lando fans sending, their DMs to the FIA, requesting them to investigate McLaren and it's specifically Oscar's car.
Sure.
That's
crazy to me.
It is. Dude, the note that was sent to Mercedes last year about them sabotaging Lewis. Then all of a sudden you put it on the podium. So listen, fans are crazy. We can be crazy. So, I think it will be good to see Lando definitely just in it. Let's send it. We know McLaren has these papaya rules orders or whatever, because even going into the race, Lando's it's all about turn one, because after that, we've got our McLaren rules. Can we really fight type of thing? So, what does that look like? 34 points is a lot, but there's 9 races left. We still have several sprint races. I mean, Oscar could have a DNF.
Could add Lando asked Max to take Oscar out.
I know.
Right. There's all kinds of scenarios.
It's funny because in the media pen post race, he was like, I was hoping that you were gonna just fully send it, and Max was kind of turn 1. Turn 2, turn 3, he was wiggling around. Was he going to just fully send it out?
Yeah, that was, it was pretty wild because, he lost it pretty hard coming out of turn 1, going into that little turn 3 area. Right. And he was able to maintain his spot, which I was impressed by at the start of the race.
If we can count on Max for anything, he's like, I don't care right now. He's like, listen, he's been pretty vocal. I don't know if I'm out of the championship battle. We know because he's going to put a good qualifying in, always. Max is always going to deliver.
You never know.
And don't count him out. And he's got nothing to lose going into turn 1. So we're going to see some hopeful, exciting stuff. But yeah, this could very well have been a championship decider.
Yeah, so I've heard people say this is like the
Malaysia
2016 Lewis Hamilton scenario when he had a major engine failure, and you heard his vocals, it was a lot less races too. There wasn't 24 races, so it wasn't, and it wasn't as many points per.
Yeah.
So it was definitely way more detrimental to have an engine failure back then than it is now. So do you think it was the same? I think you've seen the Malaysia, but I think maybe I didn't think I made you watch that.
When you look at the stats from that year, I mean, McLaren's pretty dominant this year, but we've seen like Lando was out in Canada. We've seen some other, things too, where he's having to fight back or whatever based on qualifying, yada yada. I think 2016 was definitely a little bit different because it was like literally the only race that, like, besides when they both crashed out, that was going to be like the deciding factor between Nico and Lewis.
So a little different.
Yeah, and Lewis was leading the race.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So, I mean, a little bit different. Also, was it 2007 when he like spun in the pit lane in China?
Yeah,
small mistakes
sounds
that
about
were
right.
deciding factors. When the season's over, we'll be able to look.
And you'd be like, that was
the moment,
and that was it. And you're right, it could very well have been Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's however you're gonna look at it. This race was out of Lando's control, and that's the thing that is like, was it the deciding factor? But listen, keep in mind, it literally could happen to Oscar too. So.
I mean, these engines are now getting a decent amount of wear on them. They're now we're on the back half of the thing, so it could totally happen.
Yeah, and I think too, the big thing obviously coming into this next race is that Lando's going to be taking a new engine to the pool, and he's going to have a 10-place grid drop, and what does that look like type of thing. And I remember, and not just I feel like we always go back to 2021, but I remember being obviously a Lewis fan and feeling like that Brazil weekend, it was over. He got disqualified, and I remember being like, it's over. Like, how the hell is he going to come back from this? How the hell is he going to be disqualified, start last, and come back for a championship battle? And it's feeling a little bit like that. And so, I mean, as long as Lando doesn't get in his head too much, which sometimes he does, like, there's a lot that can happen.
There is.
So
we'll see what happens.
Don't rule him out. Yeah.
9 races left, so we're still plenty of racing to do. I want to talk a little bit about penalties and 10-second ones and 5-second ones, and we got a few this weekend. Lewis got a 5-second penalty for a double yellow flag before the race as he was on a reconnaissance lap back into the pit lane. And I just saw a video earlier today that he was 20% less throttle than on a normal lap.
Mm-hmm. Well, the FIA said he slowed down, but he didn't slow down.
Not enough. And then we also saw that somebody else was faster than him coming into the pit.
Yuki Tsunoda.
So,
but didn't get a penalty.
Yeah. Okay. So that's that one scenario. Then we saw this weekend also correct me if I'm wrong, a 10-second penalty for Kimi Antonelli.
Correct. For causing an accident, a crash that took the other driver out.
Okay.
Okay.
And then what else did we get?
We got a 10-second penalty for Carlos and Liam coming together.
And they
got the same penalty that a race-ending incident also got.
So a lot of weird.
Who was to blame? And Carlos, I mean, never heard somebody be in such shock. You're joking.
Yeah.
He was well on his way to going and having some choice words with the FIA post-race.
They probably went and talked.
He did. He was like, you know what? Like driving his car a couple 100 miles an hour, and he's like, you know what? I want to have a chat with them after this. So we're going to see them. We're going to see them. So, but to compare it, it's like 10 seconds for Carlos and 10 seconds for Kimi. When Kimi literally like took out Charles,
race ending,
dive bombed him into a turn that probably he shouldn't have tried to overtake unless conditions weren't set. Not ideal, and took out a driver.
I mean, he tried to go underneath, and tires. You can say tires weren't warm yet. Which track was a little damp still in that, especially in that area down low where cars weren't really going.
Right, which is what we saw Lewis literally do. So
yeah, so
but Yeah, penalties, it's been interesting. There's been a lot of discussion, I think, from fans of like, are they making the right decisions? Like, who's making these calls?
I think they're too arbitrary, and I don't think there's enough. The rules are too open for the stewards and for them to make these calls, whether it be a 5-second penalty or a 5-place grid penalty or whatever it be. Because
well, I think that, you know, obviously
there's just a lot of I don't know. I don't like how it's up to interpretation and it's variable for anything. And
well, we shouldn't be seeing that two drivers are doing the same thing and one is getting penalized and one isn't. That's
for sure. Or like you had said in your example, both did the same thing. One was an ending for one of the drivers and one was not. They were able to get back in and finish the race. Why are those equal? Right. So I don't disagree. There's some questionable things that happen with the way these penalties get. And I think I'm kind of odd about the Lewis one too. It should have just been left after the fact because he didn't start. Then add 5 more seconds to his.
He didn't finish the race.
I know, but then why? So then it's a 5-place grid penalty. I don't.
I know.
To me, it's that doesn't seem absolutely correct to me either.
Well, from the start, they were going to be investigating it post-race anyways. Oh. It was like before the race even, like So
he was going to get something no matter what, probably.
Right.
Because it was Hamilton.
Yeah. So, you know, it just goes from bad. It went from bad to worse for Lewis this weekend. And, you know, it is what it is. He crashed out, you know, and we're on to the next race.
Yeah. Okay. You said that already.
Because I'm like, I am so sick of like the comments and the bullshit and the you should retire and you should this and you should that type of thing. And it's like, this is why drivers are so affected. And I understand they're in the spotlight.
Well, I hope they don't really pay attention to some of this.
I'm sure they don't. But like, I mean, Lando's been very open. Like he has to stay off social media because of certain stuff. And,
absolutely.
You know, it's like, dude, you guys, like, everybody is so critical of things and they can do it better. They could like,
I mean, we're being critical of it.
I know.
So yeah, I get it.
Look at your Rainmaster crashing out, not knowing to like not drive on the wet paint. Like he really can't drive in the rain, but has done like master classes. Like, shut up. Like you sound like an idiot. Like just say you don't like him and move on, you know?
I get it. Yes.
All right. End rant. Good grief.
True.
I want to talk about the opposite side. So obviously Carlos, you know, I want to talk about Alex Albon, who this season I feel like he's like the sweetest guy. Like he's so nice. If sometimes he gets on the radio and he is just not happy and he is going to tell the team he is not happy. So qualifying, he did not get the tires warmed up, was out, poor qualifying, and then has an incredible situation happen where he lands P5 in the race.
Yeah. He just was being consistent, was right there at the right time. I think he pitted at the right time for the flag.
Yes.
He's capitalized on that. He capitalized on the 3 DNFs.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So that kind of bumped him up too a little. So a little luck. Same with I kind of say Isack got a little lucky too. He was probably going to be finishing 4th.
I beg to differ that Isack got lucky getting the podium, but Isack had a great weekend.
He had a great weekend. Without a doubt. Won't take that away. He would have finished 4th, I think.
And he was defending against Charles and George and like not letting them even try to make a pass.
That's because this track is hard.
Correct. Yeah, but put himself in a great position. He would have finished P4 without the Lando DNF.
Without the Lando DNF. It was it was like icing on the cake, a little cherry on the top of the ice cream. That's what the third place was for.
Absolutely. I think that, you know, it was like people are crying because Lando is out, but they're also crying because Isaac's getting his first podium, you know? Like, it's one of those things, like, very bitter.
That's how it happens. You can't have it every way you want, you know? And no, for one young man to succeed, someone else has to fail.
Yeah. But it is exciting. I think, you know, we've seen a lot of, like, Max, Charles, the 2 McLarens on the podium. And then we had our Hulkenberg podium and we've got an Isack podium. So it's been kind of fun to see some newbies up there.
A couple of newbies this year. It's been a good round we've had a little bit of consistency with the McLarens, but it has been a bunch of other people teams.
Yeah, well, there's been some cool stuff. So, you know, I think on top of that, you know, I just thought it was interesting. You know, Alex is totally not like, and he's just like, screw this, like not great qualifying, but then great finish in the race. Definitely going into this race weekend, you know, expecting Williams to be doing well. So, you know, we'll see what happens. And then Haas.
Yes.
I mean, both drivers finishing at the point.
And maybe I should have brought that up earlier because, both in points. Ollie Behrman starting 20th from the pit lane.
Yes. To 6.
To 6. Again, timing with the tires.
Right.
Timing,
Antonelli getting a 15-second penalty.
That bumps him up.
Bumped him to last, so it bumped everybody up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they got it right with a strategy. They were on those hards.
And it started on the hards, and they did. They rolled that sucker out. And I heard him ask it, like, how long would he have gone? They could have probably finished the whole race on the hards.
Crazy.
But they needed to change tires at the most optimal time.
Yeah.
And I think they
waited for like the last safety car, but
they got lucky with that last one.
Really put them in position to be ideal, and
it was perfect for them. Yeah,
great to see. So all those drivers that were like out in Q1 finished in the points.
Yeah,
which is crazy. So I mean,
maybe it was better to be back there.
Sometimes it's like exciting to see a shakeup like that, and it's like I think this weekend was like so many heavy hitters were out, and that kind of opened it up. It didn't change the podium probably as much as you would have thought, with the exception of Isack. But, it opens up these midfield teams they're in a big battle.
That was a big shakeup for them, and they needed to. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's still every weekend there's, movement in the championship, which is exciting to see. So, yeah, I mean, it was an interesting race. We got some excitement. Not a lot of overtaking.
So was it boring for you, or because honestly, we just talked for 40 minutes or so, and it was a lot of excitement. Like there was things that happened. There was young drivers moving ahead. Back the Q1 people in qualifying finished in points, like you just said. Like there's a lot of interesting things that happened, but I kind of still felt like it was a boring race.
Yeah, the race wasn't. I mean, it got exciting, obviously, when everything.
Just those little moments sometimes at these tracks. That's the issue.
Yeah, I mean, one moment can change the whole system for the entire field. So, I mean, it definitely was highs and lows, shall we say? There was highs and lows from the weekend. And it was a bummer. A lot of our favorite drivers were taken out or out of contention. But the race, as far as overtaking, the most exciting on-track moment was definitely Charles and George.
Sure, they were probably the ones to watch.
That was the most exciting thing.
Yeah.
So that's all we got from on-track action. But
what else am I missing from this weekend that we haven't brought up yet?
I mean, other than we did get some really great social media content with Charles
sitting on the hill.
Sitting on
there, it goes along with all the other drivers sitting on the hill or sitting on the
hill, watching the race, listening to it on a phone.
Yeah.
Lando, obviously, same thing. We got the moment post race where he's walking back under the podium at the same time that Oscar's coming out to get the trophy, and he looks up, and that was that's the shot. So
yeah.
But, I mean, other than that, I could talk about a lot of things.
I'm sure we could probably talk for another 45 minutes, but I don't know if we should.
We got another race coming up.
It is right around the corner. In fact, it is by the time you are watching this, it's probably race weekend officially. Yes. And they are in Monza.
I know.
The speed capital, the high-speed race, where I kind of mentioned earlier, I think Williams are going to have a good weekend there.
Well, Ferrari's bringing a two-wing designs this weekend, allegedly.
To figure out which one's better.
Yeah, so, Charles won last year, which was epic. Yeah. So, hoping to see, after a tough weekend for Ferrari, hoping to see a big bounce back this week. So
we'll see. Yeah. I'm excited for Monza because, it's always a little exciting for those high-speed tracks like that. And it is better to see because McLaren is good, but they're overall good everywhere. And it is nice to see other cars kind of maybe go faster. I'm always on board with that.
Yeah.
9 races left. This is just a double header and then they're off, I believe, if that's correct. Okay. I think we covered everything. I can't think of anything else.
No.
If you made it this
for now.
If you made it this far, thank you very much. No sponsors as of yet, but if you guys can subscribe, whatever it is, we would appreciate it very much. We also want to hear your guys' feedback. What you guys thought, Lando fans, if you made it this far without canceling me or whatever it is, Thank you.
Wow, they cancel us.
I know.
We believe in Lando.
We do. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on why, if you are maybe one of the ones that sent something to the FIA, or if you would have, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, please.
Is there a controversy at McLaren? Was Andrea Stella laughing when Oscar or when Lando DNF'd?
Okay, before we go, that's a good question. I think he was laughing, but I think he was laughing because, of course the engine blew. To me, that's a joke. It's a joke, right? Like when Lewis lost it, of course Lewis lost it. What else is there that could go wrong?
The difference between his face and Zach Brown's face on the pit wall was kind of unusually telling. Also, Zach Brown welcoming Oscar at the end, just like, oh, great job, you know.
I mean, he's always going to be go for the number one. Yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah, but yeah, the Andrea, not a great look. Not a great look, in my opinion.
Yeah, whatever. You leave that up to interpretation. Tell me what you guys think. That's it for us.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you in a week time. Bye.